It's now 4:30 on WKYT this morning. A woman is in the hospital and a suspect on the run after a shooting in Pulaski County. We'll have a full report on the manhunt and the investigation coming up this morning.
A man police say broke into a home, burglarized it, and hit a man with a gun is set to be arraigned today. We'll have the latest on the case coming up.
And the University of Kentucky says it will cost more than $10 million to demolish or renovate two now empty dorms on campus. More on those stories coming up on WKYT this morning.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Certainly hope you had a nice weekend and you're ready to go on this Monday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope your Monday's off to a great start. And let's get a look in now with weather with Micah.
And we have a couple of showers outside slowly gliding on in here. It's not much, but it is there. But I do want to show you back toward the west and down toward the southwest of us. That's when it gets a little bit more active. And you can see that showers and thunderstorms sparking up there in Tennessee and heading in our direction. Now, this is a front that's sliding on through. The past few days have not been fronts. There's just kind of been energy out ahead of this. This is your front that's going to wipe everything on out. Temperatures are in the 60s this morning, pretty mild start. And then by the afternoon, we're sitting there at 79 degrees. And also storms out and about. They'll be very scattered. So I'll go into your latest forecast and I'll just show you what's actually behind this because that looks good. It comes up in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Let's get to the news.
Well, a man in Pulaski County is wanted by police this morning for a shooting over the weekend. Sunday morning, Pulaski County Sheriff's deputies were called out to a home on East Highway 452 to investigate a shooting.
And that's when they say Mark and Timothy Showalter ran. Later, officers found a woman who'd been shot in the head. WKYT's Sam Smith has the story.
Deputies say it was at this home where a woman was shot in the head Sunday morning.
But it's a shame. It really is.
Deputies say two suspects fled the scene in a dark blue pickup truck. 34-year-old Timothy Showalter and 55-year-old Mark Showalter. Timothy Showalter was arrested at his home here in Somerset. He's charged with complicity to commit assaults and burglary. The search for Mark Showalter is still going on. He's 5'10", 200 pounds with blue eyes, gray hair, and beard. Officials say he's armed and dangerous. Anyone that knows where he is asked to help investigators bring him in. Neighbors say the scene here was out of character for the area.
Everybody kind of knows each other. That's why we live out here. You know, we live out here to get away from everything. It's kind of just laid back, quiet area.
The shooting victim was airlifted to UK Hospital and she's listed in critical condition. Neighbors hope there's justice for her.
People like that don't deserve to be walking the streets with the rest of us, period. You know, put them in prison, that's where they belong.
In Pulaski County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
And jail leaders say Timothy Showalter will be arraigned this morning.
Well, new this morning, Kentucky State Police say a woman is dead after a shooting in Greenup County. Troopers say 63-year-old Janet Gothard was shot at her home Sunday afternoon. She later died of her injuries. State police say that they have a suspect for the shooting. No arrest has been made. An autopsy is scheduled for today. The investigation is ongoing. We're learning some more this morning about a deadly gang-involved shooting in a restaurant in Waco, Texas. 9 people were killed and about 18 were hurt, all of whom were bikers, according to investigators who say a massive fistfight broke out between rival outlaw motorcycle groups. Obviously, other weapons used in this as well, other than fists. Waco police were already on scene when the bikers eventually began shooting at each other and at authorities.
We knew that they were going to be here today. We knew there was a very real possibility that there was going to be issues. And unfortunately, it was one of those deals that they got to their guns very quickly.
Officers say they've gotten several reports of other state bikers headed to Texas to join in the fight, but they promise to arrest any that cause an issue.
Back in Kentucky, we're learning some new information about a deadly crash in Shelby County. 27-year-old Luis Carazana of Lexington was killed after a 3-car accident on I-64 outside of Simpsonville Saturday morning. According to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, Carranza and 23-year-old Rosendo Rodriguez Fuentes, also from Lexington, were going east on I-64 when they crashed into a car that had stopped in the emergency lane. They were then hit by another car. Carranza Mendoza was pronounced dead at the scene. Rodriguez Fuentes has been taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators believe that Rodriguez Fuentes was drunk at the time. He has been charged with DUI and wanton endangerment. Investigators are still looking into the accident. In Tennessee, authorities are investigating a deadly crash that they say killed a Madison County man. 34-year-old James Hall of Richmond was one of two people killed in a wreck on Interstate 40 in Nashville on Saturday. Police say 26-year-old Devin Strong was driving the wrong way on the interstate when he hit Hall's truck head-on. Both of them were killed. A third person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
A man arrested over the weekend charged with holding 7 people against their will during a burglary last weekend is set to be arraigned today. According to an arrest citation, Saquon Freeman broke into a home last Sunday on Suburban Court. Police say Freeman and 3 other men broke in, held several people inside the home for hours, burglarized it, and hit someone who lived there with a gun. According to his arrest citation, Freeman was identified after police found clothes in his home matching a witness description. He's charged with burglary and 7 counts of kidnapping. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department says a woman had to be airlifted after being hurt in a robbery. Authorities say a group of people broke into a home south of London around 8 o'clock Saturday night. They say they forced their way in, hit a woman inside the home with a weapon, and stole medicine and cash. The woman was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. Police have not made any arrests.
A federal jury has convicted the 4th person in a Kentucky oil scam. 76-year-old Henry Irving Raymer was convicted of fraud and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say the scam defrauded more than 200 investors nationwide out of more than $3 million. Federal authorities say Raymer and 3 others defrauded investigators with fake production numbers and misleading information. They say the group was planning a new phase of the scheme when they were charged back in August. Raymer is set to be sentenced in September. He could face up to 20 years in prison. A caterer in central Kentucky wants to warn other business owners about a possible scam. Brandy Bowles works for Mother and Daughters Catering and Rolling Bistro in Richmond. She says she got a series of emails from a man who said that he was in the hospital and planning a wedding. He said he wanted to order food for his wedding. He then asked Bowles to deposit his down payment check and then transfer half of the money back to him. She says 10 other caterers were on that initial email.
I think there's just so many scams out there, and they're just looking for so many different ways and routes to try to scam people out of money, that maybe if they send that email to 20, 30 people in hopes of 2 or 3 will maybe fall for it.
Bowles says she did not cash the check when dealing with any transactions that you may have concerns about. The Better Business Bureau is recommending that you give them a call.
A Central Kentucky mother is in jail this morning after police say she had drugs in her home while her kids were inside. Danville police arrested 32-year-old Tiandra Miller Saturday. They found several bags of cocaine and her 3 children in the house with her. Police say they were called by Miller's 12-year-old son, who said his mom was unconscious in the living room. Neighbors say they're surprised that kind of thing happened in their own backyard.
This is a really nice, well-established neighborhood. I didn't think anything like that was going on here.
Miller denied a request for an interview from jail. Danville police say her 3 children are now staying with relatives.
It's only been a week since UK's classes ended, and already there may be problems for students next fall. The 2 23-story dorms on UK's campus will be empty this fall semester. Closing those residence halls means the number of low-cost housing options for students will go down. The university is planning to either renovate or demolish the Kerwin and Blanding towers. A university spokesman says demolishing or renovating them will cost more than $10 million. Part of a Clark County road is still shut down after last month's storms caused serious damage. A portion of 4 Mile Road sank almost 4 feet. Emergency management crews originally thought that repairs would cost the county $300,000 to fix. Thanks to federal aid, though, it will likely cost significantly less.
It's 75% federal money to help with these disasters, and then 12% of state money and 13% of local money, so obviously it makes it easier for us to repair these things.
Emergency management leaders say repairs should take 2 to 3 months, and once that federal aid arrives, hopefully they will be good to go with that. Well, a lot of tough happenings over the weekend, right? It sounds like. Hope you had a nice one. 4:39 on WKYT this morning, and we are just getting started.
Hey, kids need to burn some energy by playing, but parents can also benefit. That story is coming up ahead.
And we're looking outside, seeing a few showers here and there for now, but storms will be moving in later on this afternoon. Now, I'll show you what you can expect out of that and what's behind that. That looks good. Coming up next.